Hello, everyone. Once again, a warm welcome. Thank you, Marriott, for organizing such a delicious tea break. I hope you all are energized to go forward for the panel discussions. And to take it ahead, also, I would like to announce that B2B meetings between buyers and exhibitors have already started, and we request them to adhere to the schedule of the meetings. And to take this panel discussion first forward, the topic is strategizing for survival, revival, and thrival of mice in India. And we have moderator with us who's been the general manager, JW Marriott AeroCity, with an experience of more than 18 years in hospitality. Nitesh, he's a seasoned hospitality professional with renowned accolades such as South Asia General Manager of the Year by Stellar's Asia and South Asia Awards, Best General Manager in South Asia by Marriott International, and Most Innovative General Manager to his name. As a General Manager at JW Marriott New Delhi, Nitesh is responsible for promoting and marketing business, positioning, budgeting, setting, and achieving sales and profit targets, and recruiting and training associates. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the moderator of the session, Mr. Nitesh Gandhi, the General Manager, JW Marriott AeroCity. And among the panelists, I would like to request once again Mr. Rakesh Kumar Verma to kindly grace the dais. He's a Joint Secretary, Tourism, Chairman, ICPB. I would like to request again Mr. Amresh Tiwari, Vice Chairman, ICPB. Dr. Shashank R. Joshi, Endocrinologist, Joshi Clinic, Leelavati Hospital, Apollo Sugar Clinic, to kindly grace the dais with his presence. And also I would like to request Captain Sudesh T to kindly step forward to grace the dais for this panel discussion. So Dr. Shashank Joshi is joining us virtually.
May I call upon Girish Quatra, Honorary Secretary, ICPB, to join us as well. Thank you, Girish. We'll just have a full sort of a forum. Thank you.
We are waiting for Dr. Shashank R. Joshi to kindly join us. He's been endocrinologist, Joshi Clinic, Leelavati Hospital, Apollo Sugar Clinic, and Bhatia Hospital. He is President, Association of Physicians of India, API 2014-15. He is Emeritus Editor, JAPI President, Indian Academy of Diabetes and Hypertension Society of India, and he's been Padma Shri awardee in 2014.
Great. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Our subject today is to talk about the business of mice, which we all love, and that's why we're all here. The idea is to talk about how do we sustain it, how do we emerge out of it victorious, and how do we thrive thereafter. My first question is to Mr. Rakesh Verma, our Honorable Joint Secretary, Tourism and Chairman of ICPB. Sir, my question is, for a hotel, mice typically is 25% of a business, so reasonably important. And going what's happening around, and typically from past experiences, which all of us seen as humanity, there are always certain opportunities in crisis. What opportunities do you think, as we come out of it, how do we come stronger out of this? For instance, Asia is very prominent in terms of appointing renowned people as advocates of the mice business. Is that an opportunity that we can look at amongst others? Please.
Thank you. A short while ago, I think that was the conversation we were having, and that this is an opportunity for all of us to take the lead. Out of the crisis, how do we take those bold decisions, something which was waiting for 10 years, something which was waiting for 15 years. We've talked about creating a strong ICPB. We've talked about making strong destinations. And some of these suggestions have already found place in our new policy, which is coming. And within ICPB also, we've been deliberating for past few months what kind of measures to position this mice industry at the center of our tourism vertical, and strengthen ourselves for a host of measures which are required to really support this mice industry. So I think we are very soon going to formalize some of these policy initiatives, which will give a fillip to our efforts to strengthen this sector, and also how ministry can meaningfully synergize with the industry. and really join hands. We've talked about strengthening ICPB in terms of more professional support, in terms of ICPB taking a central single window role where it brings that confidence and facilitation to large number of organizations for successful organizing these events. And also going out, India is a vast country. There are opportunities at many other places. Creating those local chapters of ICPB, which can help us, spread this industry across the country. So I think the time has come when we take these decisions, bring out these new policy initiatives, which strengthen and take us to the next level. I think that's how I look at it.
Wonderful. Thank you for suggestions, Mr. Verma. Captain Kumar, as the founding member of ICPB in the country and as a past vice chair, what are your thoughts on the opportunities that exist for us?
You know, it's a question we have been thinking for the last many, many months, ever since we have this crisis come to us. But I learned this very beautiful way only last week when I had an office meeting. I go to the office every day, 10 to 6. I believe that as long as you take precautions, you can do it. I still go to the office. I have my 50% staff coming in and we talk. One thing I learned from my colleagues in the office, is not my word, he's my colleague. I said, what should we do? How do we survive? How do we go? This is a question you are asking, this question. And his answer was, very interesting, my friends, his answer was, let's be a Swiss knife. Let's be a Swiss knife. At present, only focusing on one thing and hoping that God will give us alternate, no. Swiss knife, you open one, you can peel something, you can screw something, you can do this, 10 things you do it. So if you have to survive today, my friends, you have to be Swiss knife. You do everything you can do it. That is the key mantra I learned from my colleague. It's an absolutely intake I learned from him. I give you an example of situation. Let me see my own example in the last few years, and about 3 decades or 4 decades. I started with adventure tourism, moved on to conference and convention division because I handled many conferences in the past, and moved on to cultural tours, Buddhist tours, this tours. I'm first person to go to Korea to bring Buddhists to India. First person to go to Hong Kong to bring local people to India. I'm talking of history, past history. But then I said, no, I'm going everything. Main focus is adventure. So I said, no, I've shifted for the last 4 years. I focus on adventure. But now I realized it was an error. We had to be Swiss knife. We have to do everything. COVID has taught me a lesson that you must do everything. And today, the keynote speaker has said, you have to accept the reality that COVID is going to help. And I personally believe and feel one more thing we must do together, all of us sitting over in this audience, we must cooperate with each other. We must respect each other. For example, I have a business, I have a conference, I give a contact to the virtual organizers. They must respect and help me to the whole thing. And this is how we have to work. The mountain, I'm a mountaineer, I climb mountains. When you climb a mountain, we hold each other's hand. And when you go to the top, why we hand your hand or rope? Because if you fall, somebody can take you out. So time has come for us to help each other, grow each other together. Togetherness is the answer, my friends. You cannot survive alone. This is as simple as this.
Thank you, Captain. Amrish, taking on from a mountaineering example, right? You're climbing a peak, you want to do the summit. What do you think will be the rope connecting all the players?
The best thing happened from the COVID, when we travel globally, so the 3 major questions asked by the various MICE planner, safety, health, and hygiene. So after 9/11 and 26/11, I think the safety question has been addressed, and India is as secure as any country in the world. During this COVID, I think our hygiene standard has gone up very high. So thanks to the hoteliers, airlines, airport, and all the very basic things, I think even our offices, they had gone on a hygiene standard, which people were earlier taking in very light way. Now the hygiene standard are almost matching towards the international standards. So that's the positivity which I'll take it. And same in the health, because all over the world, in the major COVID warriors are the Indians. whether they are working in India, UK, Europe, anywhere. So the image of India as a health warrior has gone up very high. So I think all the three aspects, safety, health, and hygiene, we have covered it. We had covered it. And as you very rightly said, I was preparing the first time the India MICE report, trying to, hopefully, I'll submit it tomorrow. So when I was asking all the major hotel chain, how much revenue you have from the MICE, so most of the hotelier, Taj, ITC, Oberoi, Accor, IHG, Marriott, most of them has given the figure from the 25 to 30% revenue coming from the MICE. And whereas the hotel component for us is around 40% of the total billing. So that means in the tourism industry, around 40 to 42% share is MICE industry. MICE industry share is 40 to 42%, and that's a huge amount in terms of, if we take just this figure. So what I think the government of India is also planning, I think Mr. Verma will address it rightly, now we are taking in the MICE the business and social event as well. Government is already preparing the draft guideline to include the wedding as a MICE guideline, where there will be an incentive scheme for organizing the wedding and the guidelines. That's all already underway. So if the social events is also and business event also taken under the MICE, which is going to be a new definition for the MICE, I think that will be a major boost for the hotel industry, as well as the entire MICE, the stakeholders and whole ecosystem.
Some excellent points, Amrish. I think if we all were to merge together, join hands, and if the weddings come to the fold, it'll just change the way we look at the segment. Girish, what are your thoughts on this?
Thank you, Nitesh. I think first thing first, I always believe that MICE is industry. MICE is not just tourism. It's actually a dedicated industry and needs dedicated focus from, of course, all the sectors, both private and the government sector. Not only because I am a MICE operator, of course, you're a MICE hotel, that's the reason we are talking about it. But if you see the global facts, a MICE traveler gives 5 times more revenue than a leisure traveler. Second is that 22% of the MICE travelers are always with a accompanying person. Then again, that adds to the revenue. Third is that there's again a data which says that 48% of the MICE travelers always take a pre and post tour, apart from the time they spend in the conference. So if you see these important facts, you would realize that the MICE revenue is much, much more higher than normal travel revenue. So there's a desperate need, of course, of growing MICE together. As soon as, of course, as we come over pandemic, I'm not very sure as we come over or we live a part of it. In the current scenario also, I think all of us should collate, as somebody mentioned, Amrish mentioned about collation, association, and partnerships. I think that will play a very major role. As Nitesh was talking offline also about one of the conferences that we're planning for next year, a client is not very sure, in case he commits a MICE event to your venue, what number of people are going to join in. So any association MICE event, you can't guarantee numbers. Unlike a corporate MICE, you can always guarantee numbers, because that's by orders, and the MICE event, association MICE event is by choice. So considering all that, I think collations, partnership, and association will play a major, major role. And all of us need to come together, come forward, give the confidence to the end user, that is a client, that A, you are safe, you're in safe hands. Second, that you are well taken care of. In spite of your less footfalls or looking at the global recession, we are there to take care of you, whether it is a PCO like us or a venue like you. These are my initial comments, Nitesh. Thank you.
So, to summarize between Girish and Amrish, you said a very valid point. I think organizations in our country, be it hotels or airlines, have really taken hygiene and the effort to take safety really to the next standard, right? And now I think it's time for us to market it together. My next question may be a little sensitive, and I apologize in advance if it is off the topic. But I want to ask this question from Captain Kumar as a veteran in our business. Sir, while you think, with this current pandemic, hotels have been impacted, which is the fact. Businesses like yourselves have been impacted, which is a fact. But I think there has been some amount of resilience amongst us to oversee it. Have we thought about other partners who make the MICE business successful? I'm talking about our audiovisual partners. I'm talking about a photographer fraternity. I'm talking about musicians. I'm talking about those who assist us with the stagecraft. I'm talking about the small shops in Agra which are selling tourism products to the visiting dignitaries who work on MICE. So MICE is like a small ecosystem by itself. Are we doing something about that? Captain Kumar.
You'll be surprised to know that when the ICB was formed many, many years ago, there were two people who were active members, travel agents and tour operators and airlines and hotels. It took a huge amount of time to accept PCOs as a member of the association, active member of the ICBV. Huge amount of effort took to make PCO. And PCO is the most important person in the industry of MICE. It's amazing. Then another time took, the way he was saying, years take to evaluation of the whole thing. It took us huge time to bring the photographer, the audiovisual people and things like this in the category. They're still in the allied category. I think as you're just saying this, a time has come for us to look at the entire new picture. I've been telling the chairman that you have to look at the whole thing as a new, entirely new way. COVID has taught us a lesson that we have to think fresh. And we have to unlearn, leave it behind, and rethink of how do we go about it. It is essential for us, I just said before, if we have to survive in this world, your world is survival. Revival, forget revival, survival, that we have to be together. Revival, again, has to be together with the help of the government. And growth, again, with the government. They have to help us. They have to hold our hand to grow because this is their... the country cannot grow alone. They have to use us, everyone along with us, so that together we go. In my opinion, it's a time that has come for us to change our thinking and bring every segment of the MICE industry to be active part of the ICBB. And let them move together. In fact, I was telling at the coffee break, time has come for us to be more liberal in membership. Let's grow more people. You know, what's happening is that we say, okay, the leadership will be given to 4, 5, 6 category people, that's all. But you bring other members who are going to support us. And that way, you have to huge number you need. Let's say target 2,000 member of ICBB in next 12 months. That should be the number. That should be, and if you have 2,000 members, then you know you're talking of everybody together.
Thank you, Captain Kumar. May I request Mr. Verma, sir, please, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you.
If I get your question correct, I think what you're saying is the large number of informal players, part of the supply chain, part of the ecosystem, who are not very organized and probably are not able to fend for themselves. And that's a big challenge, and we acknowledge in the ministry that, you know, there has to be a way forward to bring this informal sector into a formalization. And so how do we get these people first properly recognized, then moving them as a formal MSME? Like the Government of India announced a big package, 3 lakh crore for MSME. And that was meant to take care of all kinds of unit. MSME, below a particular threshold, everything comes in MSME. But most of our stakeholders or some of the people that you're talking about may not be formally registered as MSME. They may not even be aware of those incentives, those policies. So we've taken a small step for, let's say, accommodation industry. So since July, we've been trying to register them, and technology is to a great advantage. So we've created a platform. We've been able to register 28,000 units, accommodation of all kinds, whether it's a small homestay, whether it's a guest house, whether it is a tourist lodge, irrespective of what, because everyone is supporting the system, everyone is important to the system. And unless we are able to find out where they are and at least get some sense of the structure, the geographic distribution, the next step is to bring them to MSMEs, bring them capacity building programs for them, bring support program for their growth and upgradation. So I think it should happen in all, even in travel business, even in some of the support of MICE industry. We must encourage them to get registered, and the Ministry of Tourism should offer a platform and then take them to the next level. What are their skill needs? What are their HR needs? What are their financing needs? What are their technology needs? And there are schemes, and that's how every sector in the country government is supporting. So we must support this sector. But before that, we must get formalized. We must get that information. We must get them on a platform so that we are able to connect with them. So we are serious about it. We've started for accommodation industry. And then I think in another 6 months or a year, we would like to cover most of the other segments and then bring programs and policies to support those who are in the small micro units in whatever way we can.
Thank you, Mr. Verma. I think a very relevant point that in order to completely formalize the supply chain, like you rightly mentioned, it's important that we first organize them under the umbrella of ICPB. And then, of course, all these policies will really benefit a lot of our partner associates.
So just to add that, in ICPB, in fact, we prepared the whole documents where we are calling India Mais Supplier Club. So where under this India Mais Supplier Club, we are planning to register all those, starting from even the horticulturist to the, the photographers or the fabricators. So every segment of the maize industry, bringing this club. So we are creating a new membership, India Mais Supplier Club, where we are just charging a nominal $1,000, as a membership fees for them, and then training them and bringing to the mainstream. So that plan is already there, and we might have achieved this much, but because of the COVID, the plan got delayed. Hopefully, soon we'll start it again, and very soon we'll have this India Mais Supplier Club. So anyone, any ICPB member, suppose, wanted to do any event in any particular destination, so they will find the person who are an ICPB certified member, and all the vendors, they are registered in the site and where they can get all the details. So
wonderful, Amrish. Great opportunity to kind of expand the umbrella. My next question is for Girish. And Girish, while we have all in the mice business agreed to the fact that let's do a hybrid model, right? Like look at today, a few people in attendance and over 1,200 people joining us virtually. My question to you, is this format really working? You think it is long-term? Usually in the past, to monitor the success of any event, there are a lot of data points that you can capture. What is the value of business transacted? What was the attendance ratios? You can actually get real-time feedback. So what is the kind of feedback you're getting from these forums? Is it a long-term solution? You think it will stay?
Thank you, Nitesh. And I think very, very relevant in today's time. And we as a PCU, as a conference management company, we are acting more as production houses these days. And we work on more of connecting people in terms of the internet and the bandwidth. That's more focus for us as companies these days. But of course, coming to your question, which says that, is that really working? Yes, it is working. And if I may say that MICE is the only industry which is among the tourism fraternity, if I may say, which is able to breathe or get some oxygen through this mode. I'm sure you as a hotelier, you also witnessed to it. You have also done some hybrid events. And today is the classic example. In fact, the idea of doing this CIC for next 2 days and today and tomorrow was to demonstrate the technology to the whole world, I mean people relevant to us, is that we can connect different cities with the concept of hub hybrid. So as we are talking today, we are being heard by a hub of 100 people in Crown Plaza, Greater Noida, a bunch of 50-odd people in BIC, Bangalore. And tomorrow we're going to have sessions from their side to us, which are going to be live transmitted here in this venue. So technology is really working. The only thing is that how do we use the technology? That's important. And yes, a very important component to this is the B2B meeting, the business meetings, which is also producing business these days. We've got some people here representing VASME or different associations. So you would of course understand that what does a brand look for, in terms of conference exhibition? They need visibility. I think visibility in the electronic world is much, much higher than the physical world. So that is, of course, paying a good amount of footfall to those exhibition stalls I'm referring to. And the scientific talks and business talks, of course, are happening. The only disadvantage of the whole system is the screen time. You can't have a screen time of more than 3 to 4 hours. For example, in a physical conference, when you come in, you spend the whole day here. And of course, you mingle, you exchange thoughts, and there's icebreaker. But of course, which is lacking there, the physical content is lacking. So the hybrid concept or the virtual concept, of course, will continue. But of course, physical will come back in months or maybe next year to come.
I want to probe a little bit deeper on this with Captain Kumar, if I may. In the business of travel, we're in the business of face-to-face meetings. We're in the business of relationships. That hug or that shake hand when you close the business. Is business really being transacted on these online forums? While, of course, online for education is great, But to close a transaction, I mean, do we have data to support it that yes, it is a successful buy model to work with?
Very frankly speaking, I wish no. Because if that happens, we have big trouble.
Right.
We have a big trouble. I think reality is that ultimately is a human nature to meet, get out of it, and still meet physical meetings take place. At present, why is it happening? Because we're scared of the COVID. People are not coming out of the houses even today because of the reason. In fact, I have to come here convincing my wife that I must go because I wanted to come. I think the question very simply is that we need to meet. Physical meeting is a must, and there's the only way. For example, I wanted to meet the Joint Secretary. I said, I want to meet you physically in your office. Because when I meet physically, I can convince him more than talking virtually on the phone. I think in the future, believe me, it is a temporary phenomena. Yes, it will happen. It will be the big hall, 2,000 people sitting, maybe another 5,000 sitting on the Facebook and stuff like this. This is my wish. I pray it happens.
Can I add something?
Yes,
to
Girish,
Nidesh?
go ahead.
I, of course, tend to disagree, Captain, strongly. You know, we as a conference management company or so-called event producer these days, we play a very, very important role in this. How do we graduate the event from a virtual to a hybrid and a hybrid to physical? That is us to lead the client. So whether it's a corporate or association, so again, I'll quote the example of our own event which is happening today, that while we are doing a hybrid event, we are seeing a attendance of 70, 80 people in the hall today, which is seen virtually by 1,200 people. So not only you're breaking the ice by getting 70 people in the hall, but you're of course connecting 1,200 people virtually, A. B, to talk about the business exhibitions or B2B meetings, we have still put up a exhibition here next door in CBR3, which is taking care of the exhibition component also. Not the whole exhibition is open because we are waiting for the MHA guidelines for us to follow that. So the exhibition component is also here. The physical component is also there. The virtual component is of course there for quite 100 people watching us live now. So it is us for people like us to educate the client that, you know, from virtual come to hybrid and from hybrid come to physical. That's what is happening, and we've been successful as a company from SA Meetings and more. We have been doing hybrid events, and I'm sure in months to come, we're going to do physical events also. And the concept of hub hybrid that we're portraying today here is going to follow in our future conferences. Thank you.
Absolutely. Girish, so I think, you know, with advent in technology from companies like Cisco and Google and IBM who've done incredibly well in these times, they've shown us a kind of way forward. So I think even in a post-COVID world, this format will still exist. The reach will definitely be much more, so we'll all benefit from that. My next question is to Mr. Verma again. So, you know, I was thinking about my memories with ICPB, and I, 2-3 years back, was at IMEX, part of the Marriott booth to meet some clients, and as part of my walk, saw this beautiful, grand booth which was set up by the India team. Fantastic, massive booth. And I met Madam Dubey there, who's very kind, and explained what was happening. And after I came back, the first thing I did was join ICPB. And since then, it's been a massive journey. Well, of course, other booths had large presence, but India was also right there, and it's a matter of pride for us. So I get that part. My question is, if anything this pandemic has taught us is, should we be focusing more on the domestic traveler? China, for instance, we've got some of our hotels in that market, have sprung back very strongly from domestic market alone. So while we are pushing for Incredible India overseas, and there's some lovely videos of Incredible India being pushed in the domestic market, is that the way forward for us to focus on just domestic MICE, staying within the country rather than going outwards?
I think I agree. This domestic tourism, a lot of people say it's only during the recovery period. But I think the way we look at the call of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and that is to make our India itself, our country, self-sufficient in all kinds of offering. So people who are going abroad, they are going for particular experiences, or they're going for particular value which is not available in the country. But given our reach, resources, and the characteristics, I think we can offer all kinds of, whether it's MICE industry or other parts of tourism sector. So it's a great area, and this will continue to be a focus area, how to develop domestic MICE industry. At the same time, you know, one has to be visible in the international arena also, because it brings global business to you, it brings global practices to you, And once you are serving those kind of clients, it also raises your level and your performance level and professionalism. So I don't think we can neglect the international market. We have to be there, rather more aggressive. At the same time, building opportunities within the country. As I said, it's not only Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, but also some of the smaller destinations. Khajuraho could be a good MICE destination. Mahabalipuram could be a good MICE destination. Bodh Gaya, given its Buddhist legacy, could be a different kinds of MICE segments. And all of these places, many of them we are now shortlisted and developing as iconic destination. And as we put resources and efforts there, we must capitalize on this domestic MICE tourism industry also and develop these. So I agree it's here to stay, and we must make more efforts to promote domestic MICE industry. At the same time, without neglecting the international, our efforts have to continue to get more international events here, and we need to make more efforts for that.
Thank you, Mr. Verma. Amrish, what are your views on it?
Thank you. In fact, if we see the ICPB, this is the 13th convention, so an exhibition as well. So buyer-seller meeting is going on simultaneously. So each time we had around 70% domestic MICE player and 30% overseas foreign meeting planner. So that's the ratio always. So we always very keen to have the domestic MICE, and that's the bread and butter, as you rightly say. In China, some of the hotel even had 90+ occupancy, from last 3 months back to back. And in India also, once the domestic MICE is a huge, and because there are close to around 1,800 to 2,000 associations registered who do the conferences, plus the corporate. So in fact, I propose the government gave a 200% weighted tax benefit, and all those 18 million tourists who are going abroad, if we bring them back to the country and make some incentive scheme for them, so we'll have a huge multiplier impact on this. And calculating, the return, there are two ways, return on objective and return on investment. I think post-COVID, with the hybrid version, maybe we'll have a return on objective, but return on investment is really tough. And for that, we need to more focus on the domestic MICE for sure. I think we are talking with the highest level at the government, and hopefully soon we'll have a whole domestic MICE conference before March, where we are planning to call around 200 MICE buyer, and hopefully we'll do it physically, where the hugs and everything will be there, and I hope you will be there.
No, absolutely. As part of the Atmanirbhar Bharat focus, I think it's also important for corporates to kind of make sure that we stay within and support each other rather than just taking the business to Dubai, Asia, wherein Indians are the top 3 travelers from other markets. My next question, you think it's time that with this focus on MICE that we have, under the Incredible India campaign, should there be an Incredible India MICE campaign? Should we need to have a commodity package MICE as a nice little advertising campaign under the Incredible India campaign? Captain Kumar?
Absolutely, the need that is required now. I think we have to. I'm not saying say goodbye to Incredible India campaign. It's great. It is actually
the face of the country.
The face of the Indian tourism, but we need to create a sub-brand MICE in the world. And India, of course, India is there, but abroad we need to create. I agree with you 100%. We need to create a new brand and push effort in telling the world that India is a good destination for MICE. At present, what's happening is our whole campaign in the world is based on cultural temples and Taj Mahal and stuff like this. I think time has come for us to say, give a rest to those temples and palaces and bring the modern India, which is a MICE, which is a possibility to provide this MICE even is possible. This is what 100% is our industry's request is to the government, and I hope it will bring some positive results.
Thank you. Girish, what are your thoughts on this? In making a sub-brand, do you think is the right thing to do? Will it confuse the overseas traveler or the Indian traveler, or can we do it smartly in some way?
No, I think it is long awaited. We've been telling the government about it, and this is high time we should launch it in a difficult time. on the lines of Make in India, we can have Meet in India. And of course, of an idea here. But yes, we need a MICE brand desperately. All the MICE countries that they focus, all the countries, like about Singapore, Korea smart meetings, Malaysia's got Meet in Asia, Incredible Asia. So all these countries have, or states and cities, cities in Australia. Melbourne has a meeting brand. So I think it is very, very important for us to, in case we want to focus as a MICE destination, and I can get signals from all of us here, sitting on this dais. Mr. Verma is there, Rahul Jain is here, of course, and Minister also spoke about this morning. The focus on MICE is there. I think it's high time we should come out with a MICE brand and maybe Meet in India or Incredible Meetings or whatever. But I think there's a need, desperate need of a meeting brand coming out. Through this meeting brand, we can send a strong message that India is now serious about business meetings or MICE to India.
Meet in India sounds like a nice tagline. Mr. Verma, what are your thoughts, sir?
No, I agree with both Swadesh and Girish. I think we need to create a very strong brand India in MICE as a MICE destination. And also create identities for cities also, because ultimately it's too big. So some of the cities also need to create that niche and name in the international market. And that's where two important, ICPB's role and Destination Management Committee's role. Because it's the destination as a whole which is going to succeed or fail, not individual companies. They may be efficient, they may be very professional. And so from the government side, we will be moving in this direction to strengthen ICPB, not only the central chapter, but also the chapter at the city level, the important cities which hold potential for conventions. And the second is in terms of destination, how do you present a united face when you go for international bidding, the role of the missions there, how they support the delegation, the role of the ministry and the support ministries, whether it's Home Affairs, whether it is other ministries, that's very crucial. All of them have to come to support this brand India, otherwise it will remain muted. Yes, so we are very clear about it, and it has to, it's on the agenda, and we would like to really announce something very soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Amrish, your thoughts?
I think Delhi has shown the path. Last, I think, couple of 100 years back, Delhi created a sub-brand for itself called Sadi Delhi.
Right.
Yeah. Similarly, we can have the MICE sub-brand and matlab ki it's a need of the hour as well. Not only in the MICE, even be it adventure, be it in a various segment, medical tourism, which all are growing fast in India. India need to create a carefully chosen sub-brand. So Incredible India might be a top brand, and under the Incredible India, so all other segments should be promoted under that. Right, as you rightly said, been to the IMEX, like IMEX Frankfurt, IMEX Las Vegas, IBTM Barcelona, ITCMA Bangkok, and AIME Melbourne. These are the 5 major shows for the MICE industry. And government participation in these shows, as Honorable Minister was saying, it will be there. So under a sub-brand of MICE, so that the whole look, feel of the whole pavilion should be representing the MICE of India. So it's just not a PCO or it's just not a DMC. So be it a hotelier, aviation, venue. So everyone should participate under the sub-brand, and we can together take India as a MICE destination. That's the need of the hour.
Thank you, Amrish. Some great points. I think so. If we were to do a sub-brand, it can be beautifully packaged to represent all our strengths, which is medical tourism, which is much more beyond than culture. Adventure is a huge thing. You see, I think this COVID time, everybody's chosen to health and fitness. We have got so much that we can offer there. So thank you for your thoughts. I just have time for one last question. And this will be a, if I may, I don't want to impose, but it'll be a one-word answer from all of you. What do you feel about the post-COVID world? What is that first sentiment word which comes to your mind? We'll start with you, Girish. One word answer.
Meet in India.
Meet in India. Captain Kumar.
Tough one.
One word to describe your emotion about a
Have
COVID-free
faith.
world.
Have faith in yourself. Faith.
Faith. Sir, Mr. Verma, what is that one word which comes to your mind?
It's been devastating.
Beg your pardon, sir?
Devastating. Pandemic has been devastating effect.
Right, sir. Amrish?
Post-COVID, I love to have the V-safe recovery.
Okay, V-shaped recovery. Wonderful. I think for me it'll be optimism and loads of optimism. I think because all of us are saying the right things, and once the thought is there, the action will come soon into place. So thank you so much for your time today. We can open this round for the audience. If you have any questions you want to ask the panel, they're right here. All questions get a special prize. Can we get a mic?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Sanjeev Laik, Executive Secretary WASME. My question is from the panel that I represent the MSME sector. Our Joint Secretary already told about the MSME sector's benefits and what are the schemes they have already given to them to boost their businesses. Now, my question is, post-COVID, what would be the rebooting strategy for them so that they can revive their businesses?
I didn't get the last part. What is strategy for MSME?
Rebooting strategy.
Rebooting, I mean.
MICE as a platform they can use so that they can reboot their strategy.
I think rebooting will start with recovery and creating the demand that we all are hoping for. And in terms of building their capacity and strength, as I said, ministry is seriously looking into it. During the pandemic, when we looked at the industry, how can we support them, help them, and we realized our limitation. So we would like to connect with them more strongly and support in whatever way in terms of their needs, in terms of their growth requirement. And so that's one part. And second, in terms of rebooting, in terms of demand creation, I'm sure we're all, like Amresh mentioned, the first thing is that bring that confidence, bring that trust back into visitors so that they create demand. So that's one area where the ministry is working hard. And I'm sure domestic demand has already started showing up, and we need to really support and back it up. So that should be a quick win. And going forward, that international thing also, even if it takes a year or two, we should prepare ourselves to have a greater share of international demand also, which will provide support to all segments, including MSMEs, because they are part of the value chain. So if we get a fair share of international market, it will benefit all MSMEs.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm from the media. I don't know it is appropriate for the media to raise questions, but I've been attending CIC for last, I think few editions. So that's why my curiosity to know that, because at even at last Kochi conference also, so the same strengthening of ICPB and opening new chapters. Even Kochi, in Kochi, you announced the opening of a Kerala chapter. But even I spoke to somebody in Kerala day before yesterday. So the chapter hasn't been formed yet. There's, so announced at the last CIC, but nothing happened beyond that. So even at the couple of last editions, you are announcing that we need to strengthen ICPB and open more city chapters. But what's the progress in that direction? So the same announcement happening on a year-on-year basis, but nothing progressing.
Can I take this question? So you have a very valid question raised. So when we talk about this chapter, so this chapter was with the state government. So these chapters we were opening with the state government active participation, where state need to put also the fund for the chapter. At the same time, Central will also put the fund. And that's how we will create the chapter. So Kerala government does have, committed 1 CR, for the chapter. Unfortunately, due to COVID, those decision has been not taken because all those decisions has been put on hold. Similarly, We were supposed to do the CIC this year in Mumbai, where the Varsa Singh ji has almost approved the file and acceptance of opening the third state chapter in Maharashtra, and money has been sanctioned. But again, the same problem come ki before it start, the COVID started. Since in fact February, the industry start getting this feedback, you know, things are going down in March onwards of the COVID. So things got delayed because of this thing, but rest assured ki we are on the right path, and soon you will see, as you rightly said, ki you are attending all those things. I extend my personal invitation for the CIC Nest, and hopefully you will have another question. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Relevant, and Amrish, thank you for taking that one. Are there any other questions that we can take? We have another one. Please, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sunil. I was holding myself from asking this question, thinking that it may not become a kind of a controversy, but I thought maybe if I don't get the answer, maybe we can have a little discussion on it. Why couldn't we have IPL in India? It is a loss to a lot of stakeholders, especially to the hotel industry. Yeah, there's no compulsion to answer this because it might get into a different league, but a few points.
The question
Why
was,
couldn't we hold the IPL in India? It's a huge loss of revenue to at least hoteliers and related people. Thank you.
I think, although it's not relevant to us, but what I believe, and I personally believe, this is more of the logistic, because in the Abu Dhabi and the Sharjah and the Dubai, they had a limited stadium. If the same IPL might have happened in India, they needed at least a 10 stadium. Each team needed to have their own stadium, whole logistic. The exposure of the risk will be much, much, much higher. Absolutely, you are right, when they are playing on the empty stadium, it's possible to do, but the kind of logistic get involved in India, imagine they are playing in the 10 big cities, with the 10 cities putting the pressure on the logistic, whereas compared to the, the UAE, where they are playing in the 2 stadiums, so logistics become a very limited. They are in the control environment. I think that is the only reason they gone there. Is a pure logistical decision.
I think, Amrish, the question, if I may build onto it, it's an Indian franchise. It's an Indian idea. It's largely Indian cricket teams. And it's happening somewhere else, right? So as cricket fans too, I think we're missing the action. But thank you for taking that one. Are there any other questions that we can take? Great. So with that, thank you so much. I'd like to thank Mr. Verma for your time. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, sir. Some great ideas. Captain Kumar, thank you. Girish and Amrish, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all the panelists. And now I would like to request Shri Rakesh Kumar Verma ji to kindly felicitate Mr. Nitesh Gandhi with the memento.
Thank you. Thank you, Amrish ji. Brilliant. Thank you.
And I would like to request, Amresh Tiwari ji to felicitate Captain Sudesh ji with the memento. And thank you all the panelists for their insightful discussion. Thank you, Rakesh Kumar Verma ji and Captain Sudesh ji for being here. Thank you, Girish ji. Thank you, Nitesh. Thank you, Amresh ji.